Call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, February 13th at 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Olentangy Schools Board Community Dialogue. If we have to call the order.
Yeah.
Todd, you going to call the order, please?
Ms. Dunbar?
Here.
Ms. Fiesel?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
I'm here. Pledge. Right behind me. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move. Oh,
Second?
I'll second.
Second. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I think Adam, or no, was it you? I didn't catch.
Stacy made the motion, Dave seconded it.
Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Fiesel?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. Okay, now we're to the board community dialogue. This is our second time doing this. It's a fairly open forum. We've got 30 minutes to take any and all questions that are available. Since it's a small crowd, we'll offer two ways. You can either just raise your hand and we'll take your question, or if you feel more comfortable, we've got index cards that people can write their questions down. I believe Karen will come around and collect the cards, and then we'll work off the cards. So either way works fine. So if anyone's ready with a question, we'll be glad to take a question right out of the box. Seeing none.
It's going to be a quiet little dialogue.
We do have a meeting after this too.
We have a meeting at 6:30 down the hall. Is there any board members that have anything they'd like to cover? Update the group on? Since it's an open dialogue. But this is a question. Thank you.
There you go.
For saving us from
We should have a
silence.
prize for you.
I saw on the agenda, I guess, for the meeting, maybe we'll discuss this later when we go to the meeting, but did we lose our legal counsel or something?
I'll take that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We have not lost our legal counsel. What we've done is gone out and kind of, let's say, checked the market. We've asked the administration to go through an RFQ process or request for qualifications that will then screen and say revalidate or reexamine who represents us for which specialty areas. So we don't necessarily engage one firm for all areas of specialty. We'll engage a series of firms to represent us for negotiations, to represent us for special education claims or
Bond counsel.
BOR revisions, bond counsel, etc. So it's a chance for us to make sure we're testing the market and getting a market, I say deal or arrangement with the appropriate firms for the appropriate services.
It's been done periodically in the past. It ought to be more like every 2 or 3 years, so try to get into a better routine of that.
And we use probably like 4 different
There's 4 different.
firms for different situations that we're in. So we're just going to check all of the firms that are out there. Different firms specialize in different areas, so we want to make sure that the cost is reasonable and that the services that are being provided suit our needs.
We could look at a new 5-year forecast with the casino money and the Kasich deal.
That money is not in hand. That's what I've been doing every single day, and following that. It's part of my real job. And we have been in the editorial pages of the Cleveland Plain Dealer, the Akron Beacon Journal, being called out for a wealthy district receiving money. But if you do the math, we still are not, if any money is received, we are still not even coming close to what other districts in the state have received in the past or would be receiving now. And so I just caution everybody and say, don't count your chickens until they're hatched.
Yeah, we're cautiously optimistic, but there's still a ways to go before that's fine.
And there'd be a time difference too. encourage everybody to come to the beginning of the next meeting where we're going to have school safety discussion. I don't know if you know Russ Martin. He used to be the police chief for Delaware City. He's now the sheriff, county sheriff. And for a number, 20 minutes or so, he'll be speaking on school safety. So I'd encourage you to hear about that.
What position or what role does the school district or the board play in all the proposed apartment complexes, condo complexes going on around Powell, and I think there's some over on this side too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Dave, do you
So I'd say ultimately, we have some input, but I would argue it's going to be fairly limited. The approval process is typically governed by the municipality in which the development is being proposed. So if it's in Columbus, it'll be Columbus Zoning and Planning, Powell, Westerville, etc. We will get asked for input, and we will provide it in terms of stating our expected impact on the development. But ultimately, the approval or not is up to the respective municipality.
And over the years, especially as it affects, well, for a number of reasons. Over the years, there'll be people from the development committee that have gone to the hearings. I've attended them, and others will attend as well. The facilities director used to attend, and Jeff Gordon most recently has been attending these and done a nice job of documenting and taking minutes and sending it out to the board and others. I've been attending the ones in the Liberty Township, Powell area, the one at Golf Village across from Liberty High School, as well as the one on Seldom Seen. And in fact, there was going to be a hearing tonight on Seldom Seen, but they canceled it.
Yeah, the 27th, I think.
Yeah, there's a meeting, but only to table it. So that's still in discussion.
I'd say that the public should go to your local board meeting or zoning board and give your opinion there, and that would probably have a much bigger impact if they see people coming and
there has
you
been.
don't want it rezoned. Or,
There's been good turnout from the public.
And Jeff Gordon, who's administration in the district, he has a list, and you wouldn't believe how many new apartments that are cropping up. And, you know, it's because of a swing in the development, whereas there aren't as many people buying houses, although in Olentangy they're still building houses. They're seeing a swing now in development in the apartments. A big one that will be on the east side is where Worthington Galena dead ends right into Polaris right now if you're heading south, and it looks like it's in Westerville. There's actually backhoes on the property. It's off of Polaris where Worthington Galena kind of dead ends, and it's off of Polaris, and you would think it's Westerville, and actually Westerville City approved it. It's in Westerville City, but it's Olentangy schools, so you know that one you really didn't have as much input because we don't have people who live in Westerville City. So that one is going to be a major one that we'll see off of Polaris Parkway, that those kids will be fed into our school. And I think they would come Freedom Trail and then Glen Oak and then
Freedom Trail
and then up to Berkshire Middle School. So that'll be a big one on the east side. So we're seeing it all over.
2 large commercial ventures as well that are being proposed, and one of them is there. And the other one, of course, you've all seen in the news about the potential for a mall at 3637 and 71. And I know Dr. Lucas has been paying a lot of attention to those developments, and he's had conversations. So there's administration's definitely staying on top of that side of it too. Well, did we mention safety in the agenda?
What else is on the agenda?
How about that weather?
Well, I'll ask another one.
Yes.
Karen, you own me. The turf on the fields, where does that stand? What's going on with that?
So I've been in touch with both the Liberty boosters and the Orange boosters, and both are in, I'd say, various stages of fundraising.
Okay.
They've both, I'd say, retrenched, developed new fundraising plans that I think they're trying to make a good hard push to raise all the money they can and do it without any district participation. We had previously provided some guidelines on what we felt would be acceptable proposal in which we would move forward. And they're trying to work under that structure to go ahead and pursue. And I think Olentangy, I haven't been as close to Olentangy as the other two, but I've certainly been in contact with both of those, frankly, in the last 2 weeks. And I know they're working diligently to develop and implement some fundraising strategies. But nothing, unfortunately, nothing for us to react to or nothing for us to discuss until that funding gets fulfilled.
Yeah, when Olentangy played New Albany this year in football, we happened to be there when the New Albany boosters presented a check for $650,000 to their school board, for turf field. So they're going to get a turf field, but it took them 5 years to do it. So I don't want people to think that, it will just be 1 year. It could take several years for them because Kevin laid out the plans at a previous board meeting that the money has to be in hand. And so, it might take 5 years to do, just like it did at New Albany. But that being said, just like any donation that we accept, the money is there. If we're accepting it for whiteboards, the money is there. And so they go out then, and if it's from a PTO or whatever, the money is there, and then you make the purchase because the money is in hand. So that would be germane for any donation. If someone wanted to donate a tree, that's the rules.
I see we have a student in Boy Scout uniform. Are you doing a merit badge? Any questions you'd like to ask us for your merit badge? Do we need to sign for you?
Do we get a merit badge? And we have a college student back here who's working on his education degree. So he's from Akron, and he's here attending a board meeting tonight. So Kevin did sign for him. So we have all types of learners tonight.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much more exciting than this, does it? Rethinking that major.
Go ahead. Yep.
As of today, this is in reference to the whole math curriculum and the whole math discussion we had this last summer, but as of today, parents of middle schools have still not been told whether or not they're going to offer geometry in 8th grade next year. So there's a chance that my daughter will have to go to high school, which is fine, but if they do offer geometry next year and she has to go to the high school for German too, does the district provide transportation for her from the middle school to the high school to take German too?
I see.
Yeah, so he's trying to turn around back there.
I see Mr. Rafe trying to escape in the back, but I'll. Any thoughts on that?
Why we haven't been told is because we're waiting to see exactly how many students will request that. So as soon as we know exactly how many kids will request it, then we'll make the determination of how we'll deliver the curriculum, whether it be in the middle school or in the high school, which is what we said last summer. The other, we've done that. We used to do. We've had some situations where we've had kids go to high schools or middle schools. Our middle school students who went to high schools for courses, kids who advanced. And as we grew and then those numbers proliferated, it became a very significant cost factor for transportation. Just from a standpoint, we would have the kids, the middle school kids would ride their high school bus to their home high school. So a Hyatt student might ride a bus to Liberty or so on. And then we'd have a shuttle them back. And we started to see a large pattern of cost involved in that. So we started to try to look for alternative delivery methods online as one possibility. So those are some situations that we still have to examine whether or not we can do some of these things. Offer kids the opportunity to take the most advanced curriculum possible to meet their needs, but do it in as cost-effective manner as possible.
So at what point can I expect an answer as to whether or not my daughter will be able to take German at the high school? Because I can't drive or I don't drive, so if it's not offered,
I think that
how do I get her there?
I don't know. To me, that question is outside this forum. So I'd be happy to meet with you, Mr. Petty, and I'd be happy to meet with you. When we know that, as soon as we have that answer, we're in the process of building our schedules. We just started taking scheduling requests. We're in the process of developing that before the end of the school year.
As it relates to the math, We haven't been asked to, commit to any certain path for math. We were told on the scheduling forms that we only needed to commit to our electives, and that, the decision for math paths could be made, later in the school year. So how then are you going to be able to make a determination as to whether or not there'll be a geometry class at the middle school?
It's my understanding that the teachers are meeting with the students, consulting with the parents, and making the recommendations as part of the normal recommendation process. So a typical 7th grade student would be recommended for their next 8th grade course. And then in addition, if they would want to do that, they were all going to be informed that this was an option, and then through the recommendation process, conversation with parents and teachers and administrators as to what they want. It's totally self-selected. So if they wanted to take those courses, then that's what we said they could do. You can take it as an 8th grader and double up on the course, or take it as a 9th grader and double up on the course. We'll give our best recommendation, what we think best meets your child's needs, and then you make that choice.
And what's the deadline for kids to turn in their schedules?
They already have to turn in, but not the math piece.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember the process is the teacher makes a recommendation, and then the parent can see that and say, oh, I want them to go farther, and I think they can handle it, or I want to hold them back, or...
But the final schedules, like we had several go-backs before it was final.
Yeah.
Well, we typically try to have the schedules finalized before we leave, at the end of the school year. We try to limit as best we can, so we know from a staffing perspective. But quite honestly, we probably changed some schedules today for this school still. All the time. So even if we make a recommendation, the kids decide they want to try a course, they may change their mind over the summer. They may, they may decide they want to do the math course now and then change their mind over the summer. Sometimes some of the courses, especially at the high school level, there's like summer work. They may decide they get into summer work and they don't like it, so they decide to change. So, we try to make them, or ask them to stick to their request, but we change them right up to the start.
I guess my concern was just that I didn't want, since my daughter is a middle schooler, obviously she's end of the totem pole when it comes to priority for getting a high school class. I just don't want her to be shut out of something. That would be the next progression for her.
It's my understanding there's been communication about it. Again, we typically communicate with the middle school, so we want to know. There's a 8th grader who needs to take pre-calculus, and the only one and we try to make sure there's a pre-calculus course offered first thing in the morning so they can fit that into their schedule.
Okay. Yeah, because
So
that was the other question was the schedule.
My understanding, the high school has been told they need to try to have a German 2 class first period. But again, if there's 20 kids at the high school, and of those 20 kids, German 2 doesn't fit first period, if it's better 8th period, then there may be a scheduling conflict, and we may have to look at an alternative way to deliver German 2 for your one child.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any index cards? Okay. Thought I'd check. Any other questions?
Well,
If there aren't any, we don't have to.
yeah, we don't have to sit here and stare at each other. You can come
Thank
see us
everybody
in the other room.
For coming, we're going to take 10 minutes and walk down the hall. Start the
Officially adjourned.
business meeting. Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thanks for coming.
questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I accept the meeting motion to adjourn.
We need a motion, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
Ms. Fiesel?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
And I'm going to walk out.